So there's this place called Neighbors down on Saddle Creek by the Med Center, and we had both gotten off shift, and I was going there with coworkers, and I ended up being late because my manager had pulled me into the office for a meeting and whatever. So I showed up late, and he was already there, and it ended up being that he knew one of the paramedics that showed up with us.
In my mind, when we met, it was a lot more smooth. So we would go to Neighbors bar in the morning after work on the last day of our set. And so I went with a few buddies from work. We were sitting at the table, and a lot of the nurses go there too. So we were sitting there for a while, kind of watching who trickles in kind of thing. I was kind of fresh out of a relationship and now fresh back out on the market, looking to meet some new people. And we were kind of just scoping out everyone coming in. I was just like, no one really piques my interest here. And then she walked in at like 8:30, so like really late. And I clocked her as soon as she walked in. She acts like I didn't, but I watched her walk through that back door. I knew exactly when she walked in. She sat down with all her friends from work. And so I was like, okay, now I have to formulate a plan to be able to engage in conversation with her. And so I got one of the other guys that I work with to come over and start playing pool with me. And so the pool table was right next to where they were sitting, so it kind of worked out perfect. And so then because I was over there was a gal I went to paramedic school with that works with them, who happened to be there. So that was an easy in to the group to have a conversation with them. And so then eventually I needed an extra partner for pool because I had two of my friends playing with me, and we obviously had to play pairs. So I convinced, she was apprehensive at first, but I was like, come on, it'll be easy. So put on the charm while we're playing pool together, just normal conversation, talk about yourself kind of thing. I want to know about you. And that ended up with us being there until, I want to say like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, 3:30 in the afternoon, just talking to ourselves. Everyone else had left. We sat down at a table and we just talked and talked and talked. And
then we just started talking, and we were there. I got there at like 8, and we stayed until 3 p.m. and just talked and hung out, and that's the day that we met.
We kind of knew right then that there was going to be some kind of connection there, because she goes, you're going to be trouble. I already know you're going to be trouble. So to this day, she's actually in my phone as trouble, which when people see that, they think it's a bad thing. But no, that was just our thing. And then we ended up meeting up again later that night because I was just excited to see her again. So I say our first official date. This part wasn't very smooth. We ended up going bowling down in Ralston, and then down the street from the bowling alley was my favorite little dive bar to go to. So I had plans we were going to go bowling, and then we were going to go to that dive bar. But it was funny because I invited one of my friends that I used to volunteer with to come bowling with us. So we had a third wheel on our first date. And so went bowling. That went well. Of course, I beat her, which made her mad because she's ultra competitive. And then we went down to the village, had a few drinks.
One of my favorite ones is we went to the Train concert. There was like outside of Lincoln, there was a outside amphitheater. We went to that. That was just really fun. That was one of our first concerts together that we ever did, and he really likes Train, so I got us the tickets, and it was super fun. And then the other one, we went down to Kansas City to see one of his friends, and there was like this breakout room almost, but it's kind of weird. It's like all these little tiny rooms that you go into, and they're like little mini games, and you have your team and you go in there. And so it was fun because it was just me and him, and we got to like go into these little rooms and play games together and hang out and then go see his friend afterwards. I did.
Oh, definitely her. That was 100% her.
It just kind of happened. It just kind of came out, and I was like, you don't have to say anything. We're good. You figure it out. We'll talk about this later.
she has a different story about the first time she said I love you, but the time that I remember her saying I love you was at we went to go hang out with one of her friends who bartended at what's that place called? DJ's downtown. And then after DJ's we went to Addie's, and she had been partaking in the seltzers, and she was crying, saying I love you, and I don't care if you don't say it back, and I imagine us having kids. And she just went on this whole thing. I was just like, whoa. This is we're not doing this in public. Let's go. We need but it was definitely her. She definitely said it first.
I don't know. I just, like I said, it just kind of like came out, and I was like, all right, I guess that's where I'm at. So we'll see how the response is. And I don't know. I was okay. Either way, I was like, okay, maybe we'll see. Hopefully.
Oh, I said it right back to her because I was like, there ain't no way I can't not say it right now. But it was one of those things I knew I loved her. I was just nervous to say it, kind of thing. But yeah, no, went right into it, saying it right after. Honestly, it's kind of embarrassing, but I took a break with her. I don't know if I was just nervous about where things were going, and I'm so bad at commitment, and just like I got burned before, so I was nervous where things were going, and things were getting more serious. And so I took a break, and then the whole time we were not talking. It was only for like a week, but the whole time we weren't talking, I was like, crap, I think I messed up here. Like this is a good girl. This is like my best friend, and this is somebody who I get along well with. Our dynamics are great. Just, all right, I need to commit to this. So went back, flowers in hand, and she likes to give me crap because it was like the only time I gave her flowers. But yeah, that's when I kind of knew like this was going to be serious and this was going somewhere.
I knew pretty quickly. I don't know. Coming into it when we first met, I was like, I'm going to be single for now. Like, I just started my job. I was, getting settled in Omaha officially after being in college. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to just figure out what life is about. And then I met him, and I was like, well, dang it. Here he is. Now I got to like this boy because he made me like him. So I was pretty quick after. I would say we met in October, by probably January, I was ready, so. I was sold. I liked him.
Oh, shoot. So that's another fun thing, because she always likes to give me crap because I switch up and I don't keep the honest answer. So we were talking since October, but then I didn't commit to actually admitting we were dating until April. So it took me 6 months to admit we were dating, even though I thought it was obvious. I thought it was silly. The whole thing I thought was obvious because I was like, we spend every day together and we go on dates together constantly, and we go hang out with each other's friends all the time and stuff. So I was like, obviously we're dating. But she wanted me to be will you be my boyfriend or girlfriend? I was like, so high school, but so 3 years now, I guess 3 years back in October. Yeah. I had a lot of planning going into it, and the actual day was stressful, but it was funny because I bought the ring like a couple months before, and I knew I was going to do it on that trip. And I kind of played with the idea of doing it when we were out in California. So we were in California a few weeks before, earlier in the month, because we had a half marathon out there. And I tossed that idea as soon as I thought, we're going to be in Aruba for sunset. Like, that's kind of perfect. So it was funny because we went to dinner that night and had plans for dinner at a really nice Michelin star restaurant. And I had made sure that she packed a dress and everything like that. And I told her, we're going to a nice dinner, make sure you pack a dress. And so we go down to Huntington Beach. We go to the beach to go pick up our race packets. And then I was like, you know what? We're already down here. Let's go on a walk. Let's go walk the beach. So we go walk the beach. And I was like, oh, there's a pier up there. Let's go walk up the pier. So we go walk up the pier. We were sitting there. I was like, oh, about to be sunset. We should go watch that. So she's like, well, we can't. Let's go watch it back over on the beach. I was like, okay, perfect. So we walk back, come down the beach. We sit on the beach and we watch the sunset. And then people kept walking in front of right where the sunset was. So I was like, oh, let's move over a little bit so we can actually see the sunset. And then I didn't realize in my mind, because I already knew when I was going to propose, that in her mind, she was thinking, is he about to propose? Like, he's doing all the things like he's about to propose. And I'm like, all right, sun's down. Let's get ready for dinner. She's like, oh, maybe he's going to do it at dinner kind of thing. So we go get dressed, get all nice and dappered up for dinner. And then go to dinner, go through. Appetizers come, main course comes, dessert comes, bill comes. All right, we better get back to the hotel. We got to go to bed. We got to wake up early to go run this race. And she's like, are you serious right now? Never even on my radar whatsoever. And then we get back to her friend's apartment, and her friend's like, did you have any realization whatsoever that you were sending all the signs that you were going to propose and you just didn't? I was like, oh, no, not a clue. So that's the long story of before the proposal. So then now we get back home, and she does this thing where she's just like, and I'm like, what's up? What you got? And she's like, no, it's just, what are we doing? Is this going anywhere? It was very reminiscent of when I admitted we were dating. And I was like, yeah, what do you mean? We're obviously dating. I'm dating with the intention of getting married. I'm not just out here having fun kind of thing. She's like, can I get some kind of a timeline or something? And I was like, all right, I gotta throw her off this set. Now I gotta kill this. I go, I'll tell you what. We've been together for 2.5 years, maybe? Don't bring up anything about marriage again for 15 months. I said, in 15 months, if I haven't done it yet, we can talk about it,
Be a month before we were leaving, I was all for pushing engagement rings. I was like, do you see this? I really like this one. This one, I really like this one, in case you were wondering, right? And so we had a conversation, and he totally made me believe. He was like, well, within the next 15 months. So it'll be our officially 3 years together. By then, he was like, if I don't propose to you by then we have some things to talk about. And I was like, okay, I guess. I had no idea it was coming, right? I was like, totally out of the loop.
So I got her totally off the scent. So we go on this cruise, and I had everything planned, and I had picked up some ring pops, which I don't know if you know how hard it is to find ring pops. People act like you can just go to the gas station and find a ring pop. You can't, because I went to 6 different gas stations looking for a ring pop, and you cannot find a ring pop at gas stations now. But I go to Walmart, I go back in the candy section, there's no ring pops, and then right up in the front, I finally find, they had 1 box of ring pops, perfect. So I grabbed these ring pops I had this whole plan of proposing with a ring pop initially to kind of throw her off and then actually bring her ring out. So I took a picture of the ring pops and I sent it to her friends, and I was like, hey, look what I got, kind of explaining how this is going to go down. And
so we went on this family cruise, and our first stop was Aruba. So we left out of Florida, and we had a couple days at sea, and then we got to Aruba. The
night before the proposal, I'm right at the finish line, and she's going through my phone looking at the photos from the trip, and she sees this picture of these ring pops. She goes, what's this? I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So I was like, oh, I had bought those as a joke. I was going to pretend like I was going to propose, and I was just going to give you a ring pop. She's like, well, did you bring them? I go, no, I actually forgot them. She's like, of course you did. I was like, okay, we're past that. So we go to Aruba, right? And we get off, and I had plans we were going to spend the day down at the beach, and then we were going to I hadn't 100% decided yet if I was going to propose there on the beach at the golden hour, or if I was going to go up to, there is a California style lighthouse up there. And so me and my dad, so I leave him. Me and my dad go on a walk down the beach, and we're kind of game planning what we're going to do. And I FaceTime her mom, and I was like, what do you think, Wind? And she's like, oh, the lighthouse would be cool. So I was like, okay, we're going to do it up at the lighthouse. So then I'm like, are we going to be able to walk up to the lighthouse? We're going to have to get a cab. Find out I'm going to have to get a cab. So talking to the guys up at the bar about getting a cab and stuff. So I think I got things settled.
So we went to the beach that day, and we were just hanging out, and he was kind of just like not hanging out with me. And I was like, all right, this is our first day in a foreign country together. We're off the boat, like at a beach in Aruba, and he's not hanging out with me. Okay.
So then I come back. Keep in mind, she thinks this is going to be this romantic trip. This is the first stop of the cruise, and I haven't spent any time with her whatsoever down there. She's been hanging out with my brother in the water. That's about it. So I go snorkeling for a little bit, and then I was like, okay, about time, we got to get going. So I was like, all right, let's go. Let's get up to the top. Let's get all dressed. We got to go to this fancy dinner. That's how I sold it to her. So we got a fancy dinner tonight, so you got to get dressed up a little bit.
Obviously, he was, I think, freaking out a little bit because he knew things were happening and I didn't. But yeah, so we got ready because there was like this lighthouse at the top of the hill.
And everyone is taking forever to get dressed because there's only one bathroom and everyone's sharing. And I had a cab waiting, and I was stressing because I was like, there ain't any more cabs here, and we got to get up to this lighthouse like now.
He called the taxi, and then the taxi left without us because we weren't right out where the taxi needed to be.
And our cab left because you guys take too long to get dressed.
And so then he was like running around freaking out because he's like, we're obviously in a foreign country where we don't speak the language, right? So he's like trying to figure out how to get another taxi because we were on the other side of the island where not a lot of taxis go. And so it was a whole thing. And I was like, I don't know why everybody's like freaking out. Like, our dinner reservation isn't for like another hour. So I don't know why we need to go to the lighthouse so bad.
I'm kind of stressing, pushing them and stuff like that. And she's like, why do we have to get up to this lighthouse so emergently? Like, it's not that big of a deal. I'm like, I want to go to the lighthouse.
You know, we could see it down here, but I don't know. I didn't know this was happening.
Thankfully, a cab shows up. We get up to the top of this cliff, and it was funny because they had this cutout of this bride and groom up at the top there that you stick your head into kind of thing. I was like, oh, this is cute. Let's go take a picture in front of this.
Yeah, we were starting to take pictures or whatever, and before we left, he had these 2 ring pops that I saw a picture of on his phone that he had sent to my friend, and I was like, what are these? And he goes, oh, well, I told Kelly that I was going to pretend propose to you with these because you've been asking for a ring for so long. And I was like, okay, ha, ha, ha.
She still no clue whatsoever. And then I had my mom FaceTiming her mom, and then I had my dad recording on a GoPro, and I was like, oh, let's get a picture. So we go to take a picture, and then I pull out the ring pop first. I go, I didn't know what size ring you wanted or what color you wanted, so I just got you a jumbo red or whatever. And she kind of rolled her eyes. She's like, are you serious? Just take the picture.
So we were taking pictures, and he pulls these ring pops out of his pocket like this, and I was like, come on, like, let's take a real picture, like, and all of a sudden he's just down on one knee and he got an actual ring out, and I said some choice words in front of his parents. And
then I popped down on a knee and I pulled out the actual ring. And she goes, shut the F up. She immediately looks back at my mom and she's like, sorry, And so I was like, oh, finally, it's done. I don't have to get. Thank goodness it was the first stop on the trip, because I don't know how I could have kept that secret any longer.
He really thought everything through. He was very nice.
Oh, that's so cute.
He did good.
Good brown.
I love that he has the biggest personality, and he's the most outgoing person I think I've ever met. Like, he could talk to anyone for hours, and he just consistently is making me laugh. Like, he just I love being around him. He makes my day so much better. Like when we're at work, I'm like, I wonder what Jordan's doing. Like I wanna go be with him. I don't want to be at work. I just want to hang out with him, and I don't know. My life is just better with him. He just makes it better.
That's hard.
I love how much she compliments me. She does well at keeping me grounded, and she absolutely loves me for me. And I think that's the coolest thing, is how she just loves me unconditionally. And I know she loves me, and she tells me how she loves me. It's not just a I love you, you love me kind of thing. We don't just say the words. Like, she actually loves me and cares about me and all my flaws and all my out-of-pocket stuff I say. It just, she's the first one who I know she absolutely loves me. And I think that's really pretty cool. And she's my best friend. So I think that's pretty special. Yeah.
It's always nice surprise.
Yeah. So she just moved in, like last month, and some door-to-door salesman kid came up to the door. She hates this. And he knocks at the door, and I'm cooking in the kitchen. I was like, hey, can you go answer the door real quick? And so she goes and answers the door, and he goes, hey, is your mom or dad home? She just actually, I'm the homeowner. Oh, sorry. I absolutely love that. That made my day right there. So then, like a week later, we had another door-to-door salesman. She goes, you're answering that one. Okay.
So when we first met, like obviously there was my coworkers there, and so they knew that we had like met and that we had like talked, right? But then we were kind of like trying to keep it on the down low, because he was a medic that would bring patients into the ER where I work, right? So he is kind of like, things go weird, then we don't want everybody in our business, you know? And so eventually it just got out that, you know, we were talking and hanging out or whatever. And so there was this doctor that we worked with, and she was always like, oh, come on. He would come in and she's like, come on, we're going to go take pictures now. We're going to take pictures now, because you're going to appreciate these in a couple of years when everything goes good and you're going to get married, but you're going to love these pictures. And it's just like us in like one of the rooms, like, you know, like, okay, this is awkward, kind of, but like kind of sweet. And she would pose us and make us do all these silly photos and stuff. So I appreciate that. But
family. I'm really excited to settle down, have a family with her, and be able to spend time, just the two of us, really just grow together, and then introduce kids into the mix and be able to do the whole family thing, because I'm excited to be a dad. I play hard to get with her, because she would be a mom right now today. Like, she's all about it, and I would love to do that too, but I always pretend like, oh no, I don't want that. But no, I'm excited for her to be the mom of my kids, and I'm excited to have kids and do the whole family thing. It's gonna be fun.
I'm excited for everything. Like our whole entire future, having kids. We're gonna get a dog next year. I'm just so excited, like everything. Like he just, like I said, he makes my life better, and I think we're gonna have our best little life. And it's already been great for 3 years, so I can't imagine what another, whatever, hopefully 50 years, whatever we want, will be. So I'm very excited. It's gonna be great.
I am completely, totally in love with this girl, and I can't imagine my life without her. And I know that feeling is not going to go anywhere, and I'm sure it's going to grow, and it's going to change me a little bit different. But like, this is like the happiest I've ever been in my life, is my time with her. And I just think if I can just capture this moment of how I feel right now, man, that's like the ultimate drug right there. Is just, I'm just excited to see her every morning. I'm excited to see her every day, and just, she's pretty great. I love this girl.